Cat's out of the bag. DNA test confirms big cats are on the prowl in the British countryside. Big cats are on the prowl in the UK, and there is finally evidence to prove it. An explosive new documentary, Panthera Britannica Declassified, has revealed that black panthers and other big cats are roaming the British countryside. The shocking revelation comes after documentary makers spent years investigating sightings across the country. And now, DNA from a black hare caught on a barbed wire fence following a sheep attack has offered definitive proof of the big cat's existence. The hare was recovered from a farm in Gloucestershire where there had been some unusual predatory activity. And video footage of a large black animal captured only a few miles away from the sample was enough to raise suspicion. Forensic scientists at a top laboratory have now confirmed that the hare matches the DNA of a big cat species with a 99% match. For decades, people in Gloucestershire and across the UK have reported sightings of what appear to be black leopards. Witnesses have described them as healthy and confident, suggesting they grew up in their environment. These stealthy predators mainly prey on wild animals like deer, but they've also been reported to attack foxes, ducks, geese, and even pigeons. While they can switch to sheep, it seems that they much prefer natural game. However, the tooth pit analysis conducted at the Royal Agricultural University suggests that the relatively large carnivores that fed on the sheep carcass found at the same farm as the DNA result much prefer natural game. Matthew Everett, from Dragonfly Films, said, "The DNA was from hares caught on a barbed wire fence where there had been some unusual predatory activity. It's taken 5 years for the production team to find such evidence and film its journey from collection to analysis. People in Gloucestershire and Britain have described what appear to be black leopards for decades. So, a leopard DNA result from a black hare sample is unsurprising. This is not the first such DNA result and is unlikely to be the last. There is a great deal of secondary evidence for these cats, such as consistent witness reports, but hard evidence like DNA is hard to get, so the contribution from this documentary is very helpful. Collecting such evidence from local people, farmers, and landowners is essential. Citizen science like this will hopefully help us learn more about the Bagheera-type big cats which may be quietly naturalizing here. The current findings are not the first of their kind, but they provide valuable evidence to help understand possible big cats living in the British countryside. Dragonfly Films is currently looking into broadcast options for the upcoming doc, while an earlier version of the film Panthera Britannica is available on Amazon Prime, Vimeo, and Apple TV. In 1976, the UK introduced the Dangerous Wild Animals Act, which required owners of certain exotic animals to obtain a license and meet strict safety standards. This led to a surge in the number of abandoned or released exotic pets, including big cats, snakes, and primates. The aftermath of the Act's implementation resulted in the formation of animal sanctuaries and rescue centers, as well as concerns over the welfare and safety of both the exotic animals and the public. Some of the abandoned animals were able to be rehomed, while others were too dangerous to be domesticated and had to be euthanized. The Act continues to be in effect today and has greatly reduced the number of exotic animals kept as pets in the UK.
Boy 11, shook up after being chased by big cat in latest Doncaster sighting. A boy was left shook up after being chased by a big cat during a bike ride with his dad 11-year-old Harrier Bonai was cycling in woods with dad Martin, when a large mystery animal began giving chase to the youngster. The pair escaped unscathed from the incident, which appears to be the latest in a long line of big cat sightings in Doncaster in recent years. The father and son were biking through Black Car Plantation on Warnington Lane near to Cantley and Branton on Wednesday evening, when they were approached by the animal at around 7:30 p.m. "Has there been another big cat sighting in Doncaster?" said Martin. "We were riding on the trails that circumnavigate the woods. My son was riding about 30 yards in front of me. As we rounded a corner, I saw out of the corner of my eye a large black animal sprinting out from the cover of the woods heading directly for my son, running diagonally to head him off. My first thought was of a large black dog, as I wasn't geared up for expecting anything else. Advertisement: the woods are popular with dog walkers. So I quickly looked to my left to see if I could identify the owners of the dog. I was a bit concerned at the animal's intentions at this stage, but when I looked back to see if it was close to my son, the animal had disappeared. As I collected my thoughts, a few things struck me. Firstly, on reflection, it looked like a very large cat and not a dog. There were no owners or other people in sight or earshot. The animal also had to traverse a short section of bracken and undergrowth to get to my son. So the only conclusion I could draw was that it saw me coming, aborted its attack, and was laying up in the bracken. Pet dogs simply don't do that. The cover was not that dense, so it must have hidden. My son at this stage knew nothing, saw nothing or heard nothing, so I told him to stop, have a rest, and a drink, while I had a little look around in the undergrowth. Admittedly, I didn't want to get too close, as a cornered cat would likely attack, so I encouraged my son to get back on his bike and ride away from the scene. I only told him later, when we were out of the woods, so not to cause alarm, but he was quite shook up when I told him. I didn't get any pictures as it happened really fast, and my son's safety was my first concern. Obviously my son had no idea, so he wasn't scared at the time, but I was quite alarmed. When I got in, I did a quick search in Google, and was really surprised to find out that this area is actually a hotbed for big black cat sightings, with one being spotted less than a mile away from our sighting last year. There have been a string of big cat sightings in Doncaster in recent years. In August last year, a female dog walker reported seeing a beast prowling in fields near Thorn. Another reported seeing a big black cat while driving off the M18 onto the M180 near to Thorn Golf Course. Earlier last year, footage emerged of a mystery animal in fields near Onthor. The clip showed a large, black animal stealthily moving through fields on the outskirts of the village in February. In 2019, Mum Jessica Clark spotted a huge 5-foot black cat in fields near to the town's Keedmoat Stadium. When I realized what I'd seen, I just started panicking. It was massive and very muscular and definitely a big cat. It was quite frightening to see something like that up close, she said. In January 2017, Alan Tomlinson said he had seen a panther near to Junction 1 of the M180, close to Doncaster services. He said, "I've been doing this job for 8 years, and have been driving since 1982, and I've seen foxes and things like that, but I've never seen anything like that before. It was much, much bigger than any animal I've ever driven past. I only saw the back of it, but I knew it was a puma or a panther when I saw the size of its tail, which was curled right round. That's how I knew it was a panther." Meanwhile, later the same year, trucker Graham Byram said he saw a trio of highways workers struggling to lift a huge dead animal into the back of a truck on the A1 near Harworth. Stories of big cats go back to the 1960s and 70s, when it was legal to keep exotic animals as pets. But in 1976, the government introduced the Dangerous Wild Animals Act, and while many owners gave their pets to zoos, rumors started that some people beast of Exmoor, and I joined them. It was too cunning for them. I never saw one, but tracked two in the snow in 1986. A local farmer saw the larger animal and confirmed it to be a big cat. I took some fur caught on barbed wire from the smaller cat, and Bristol University confirmed it was probably from the European lynx. My housekeeper encountered a beige-coloured big cat when walking the dogs, and my son a black one local to my cottage. I think they used the disused railway line that passed my house as their highway.